Another situation, another time, another year, another race, even different drivers. And here we go again with this same situation of Red Bull clearly having a conflict of interest. Red Bull being a conflict of interest. And this is just another portion or another ingredient into the Red Bull cheating way. This is something that should not be allowed. This is something that hardly at this level or this dynamic exists in other sports. And there's no way that it should be allowed here in Formula One. It is a clear-cut advantage for Red Bull. Big shout out Pure Black, first in the live chat. Oscar Cullender is second in the live chat. And Zitro, third to make the podium. If you're not first, you last. So here it is again, fam. Here it is. We go into a situation. If we pay attention here, you're going to notice Ricciardo is going into the pits with 2 laps left in the Singapore GP. He is but last. Only because he's only 18th because 2 cars failed to finish this race in Magnussen and Albon due to difficulties. I think Magnussen had a puncture. I think Albon had power unit issues, and effectively Danny Rick would have been but last. I think he would have been dead last. I think he would have been the 20th car. But as you see, he's in the pits, 12 laps on these soft compound tires. He now is going to come out. He's going to have fresh soft tires. I think these are used. So probably 3 laps on those used. But he's going to have a fresh set of soft tires, whereas compared to everybody that is sitting out here now is 20-plus laps on all tires, whether they are soft, mediums, or hard. They're 20-plus laps. The person who has the most laps on their tires is Hamilton at 42 laps, as Mercedes left him out there stranded in a situation that was obviously ridiculous for them to do. So my question is, how long are we going to allow, how long are they going to allow this situation to continue to take place? By the way, we will have Wolfpack F Grudge Racing this Sunday. I will post that link today. But how long are we going to allow this to happen? Hey, greetings from Ghana. How you doing? That's what I'm saying. Hey, big shout out to y'all. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is sad. This is something that should not be allowed to go on. Red Bull have utilized this tactic more than once. They utilized a tactic where they've used 4 of their cars, 2 of their teams. And at this point in time, they're not even calling it AlphaTauri. It's clearly Red Bull. You got Red Bull, you got Red Bull Visa Cash App. How does it get more disrespectful than that for the team to feel that nothing's going to happen to us? We're doing it. They're going to let us do it. Yeah, we got 2 teams, 4 cars, 4 drivers. So what did they do? Danny Rick is called in as the hitman. The fast lap hitman is what he's called in as. Danny Rick, I'm going to tell y'all right now. I'm going to tell you right now. All these posts, all these farewell videos, all these comments. Listen, Danny Rick left already before. He left already before. I'm not into the, you're going to retire? Oh, okay, now you're going to unretire. Oh, okay, you're going to retire and then give you a whole nother retirement party. Bro, you retired last time. I'm not throwing you another retirement party. I'm not finna throw you another farewell party. We're not finna bring a bunch of cakes and cupcakes and donuts to celebrate it. Mechanic Mercedes says, we squad now, big bro. Good job and congratulations. Hey, brother, man, appreciate you very much. We squared up for sure, bro. Squared up for sure. Please, brother, make sure to send me your shirt size. Please send me your shirt size. And I think I already got your address from you having a box before, but please send me your shirt size, bro, so I can go ahead and send you out that care package, brother. I really do appreciate you. But this is not the first time. And Danny Rick, yo, bro, you should have never came back, but you did. So I'm just gonna let y'all know right now. I ain't into all these Danny Rick posts and fair. We done it once. We're not finna do it twice. You came back prematurely. You sucked. It's over. You're out. Liam Lawson is in. Okay. But right now you are, and you allowed yourself to be part of another debacle within Red Bull on your way out. So you even left jacked up. Let's just say for keepsake, sentimental reasons, Red Bull says the Red Bull Visa Cash App, not the Red Bull. I know it's hard to, decide the two besides for the livery. But let's just say they say, hey, Dan Rick, yo, it's your last race, man. Let's just get you out there, get you a fast lap for your last race. It's oddly funny how Red Bull radio transmissions have been very garbled up. I'm just keeping it real. Red Bull radio transmissions have been really garbled up. Now, I'm going to go back and listen to some other radio transmissions to see if maybe it's Ferrari, maybe Mercedes, maybe McLaren, maybe Aston Martin. See if other radio transmissions are as jacked as Red Bull's. But I'm just saying, it's very odd that is the case. I'm going to look and see if it maybe not so odd and maybe it's a common situation or problem that maybe the FIA or whoever's in charge of telecommunications and communications on track needs to fix, because the radio transmission messages on the app have been absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. So let's just say, for the sake of sentimental value, they said, Danny Rick, go out there. We want you to get the fast lap on your way out. For what? For what? What is that going to do? Nothing. But I would think if that was the case, if this was the intention, that the radio message would be a little bit more celebratory than it sounded. A little bit more, hey, last hurrah, then we really in there. That's not how it sounded. I would have really went for that had somebody, hey, Danny Rick, let's get you in. Box, we're going to try to get you that fastest lap. It was none of that. It was none of that, because I don't think it was about that. Just send it. Big shout out, bro. What I think is, matter of fact, before we get into that, let's go into this. All right. McLaren team boss, Andrea Stella, has called for the relationship between Red Bull and RB, right, to be addressed after Daniel Ricciardo's peculiar fastest lap at the Singapore Grand Prix stole a point away from the race winner, Lando Norris. With McLaren dominant around Marina Bay, Norris was looking at taking 8 points out of Max Verstappen's lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship, having set the fastest lap time on lap 48. However, the extra point was lost as Ricciardo, running at the back of the field, what increasingly appears to be his last race in Formula One, came into the pits for a fresh set of soft tires and went almost half a second quicker than Norris' best effort on his final lap. I'm going to tell you all like this. I believe, and the word believe pretty much goes into saying something that you don't know may actually exist, maybe not even true, but you believe that it is. I don't have the records. I don't have a operative inside a Red Bull. I'm not a fly. I don't have a remote control fly on the wall or a remote control bird as some of the Marine Chinamen are using to surveil people. But I do believe that at some point in time in these last few events, there were a conversation held. And in that conversation, I do think that details such as, if this were to happen, we need you to do this. If this is to happen, we need you to do this. Simple rules of engagement. Simple rules of engagement for Red Bull and RB Junior team. And how I think that went is, listen, we are in a comfortable lead, but in a very uncomfortable situation with the car not being as dominant as it is. What we need you to do is, if at any given time there's an opportunity for you to take a point off of Lando, we need you to do it. If Lando has the fastest lap closing out the race, we need you to pit one of your drivers and we need you to suit him up to take the fastest lap if possible. If Lando happens to qualify poorly behind two junior Red Bull cars, we need you, if able to do so without it looking so suspicious, we need you to hold him up abruptly. I do think these conversations are taking place. I do think this conversation has been had. I do not think that Danny Rick going into the pits in lap 60 with 2 laps left made any damn sense, especially the way the tone was that I could at least gather on the radio. When are they going to step in? This should not be allowed. This is literally a distinct and egregious advantage over all other teams. All other teams only have 2 drivers, 2 cars on track. Red Bull is the only team to have 4 cars and 4 drivers on track. I don't know if there's going to be some idiot in the live chat or in the comment section saying, well, Mercedes has Williams. I don't know if maybe if you say that, you've been living under a rock. Maybe if you say that, you haven't paid attention to the tension between James Vowles and Toto Wolff. Maybe you saying that is something that clearly you just believe in and we all know is not true. Maybe. Because James Vowles has taken little to nothing from Toto Wolff when it comes to Toto Wolff saying, I want this to happen for said person. No, he's not even worth doing that. Red Bull, on the other hand, do y'all not recall the Yuki situation? They literally put Yuki out there on track for him to stall out, bring a safety car. Do we not recall what other situation was that with Gasly at one point in time? Well, I think Gasly was deliberately told to do something in a race. Like this is not something that is being suspected. This is something that we know. We know that there have been directions from Red Bull to their junior team to act out on track. We know this. We know this to be true. Why something hasn't been done about it yet is very odd to me. It is very odd to me. It's very, very also telling to me. Because before Stella said something about it, Zach Brown said something about it. Mercedes has said something about it. I believe another team even said something about it. It's just, when's something going to be done about it? Because it should, going into 2025, there should not be 2 Red Bull teams and 4 Red Bull drivers and 4 Red Bull cars. There's plenty of options out there to dissolve this whole relationship and restore more ethic and integrity to the racing of Formula One. That is what I will say. Now let's talk about something else. More Red Bull, but now pivoting to Mercedes. Red Bull is just in the middle of all kinds of bull crap. Okay, you got bull crap between them and McLaren. You got bull crap now between them and Mercedes. Always has been between them and Mercedes. But I do want to say this. Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff rubbed a lot of Mercedes fans and even Lewis Hamilton the wrong way just some odd months ago. While acting like a scorned, badgered, bludgeoned lover, Toto Wolff went out here in these public journalist streets and he campaigned cryingly for Max Verstappen if he could get him. It was horrible. It was sad to watch, and it was tough to watch. This man who called himself Lewis Hamilton's friend would sit here in the same season Lewis Hamilton is still driving for you, and you would campaign for not only an opposing team driver, but a clear and cut obvious enemy in Max Verstappen in the face of Lewis Hamilton. That's personal. That's personal. But you know what they say, right? You get what you give. And what did Toto Wolff get? He got the same crap thrown right back in his eye. Red Bull boss Christian Horner says it would be foolish for his team not to consider attempting to sign George Russell when the Mercedes driver's contract expires at the end of 2025. But Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has accused his rival of stirring the pot, I'll say, with his name check of British driver as a Red Bull option. Why are you crying? Why did you know when you told James Vowles like it would have been better had he said nothing? You saying what you just said was so contradictory. Bro, you did it first. You was out here campaigning for Max Verstappen, Christian Horner's driver, his crown jewel, his gem. You were out here campaigning to sign Max Verstappen. Matters of fact, so much so, there were rumors and news going around about the contract structure in which you were going to offer Max Verstappen. Putting together a deal that you thought he could not turn down. Also disrespecting Lewis Hamilton by not offering him a deal in such ways that he obviously earned and deserved at Mercedes. Nobody feels sorry for you, Toto. Toto, nobody feels sorry for you. I'm not even mad Christian Horner said it. I actually would like if he signed him. I'd like if he signed Russell. Let Christian deal with those problems. Because I'm trying to tell you, you think you got an issue now. Russell is not the driver that is going to purposely play second fiddle. He's not coming there for you to tell him he will only be able to be as good as number 2 as long as somebody with the initials, Mike Victor, is in the first seat. You're only going to be as good as number 2. You never have the option unless he's broken, DNF'd, he has a penalty that puts him so far back. Even then, we want you to do what you can do to bring him up to the top. Yeah, go on, Russell. Go to Red Bull. Go to Red Bull, Russell. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see it. Still, it's going to be Red Bull putting a driver next to Verstappen that they feel at least is not better than him, hasn't done more than him, probably won't be able to compete with him as much. But I do say this, Russell's going to be a problem. But Perez is a doorman. Perez is a yes man. Russell, I don't get that from him. I would be extremely surprised if Russell went to Red Bull and played the yes man duty. I just would. I would. I might even lose a little bit of respect for Russell because I look at Russell at least. I mean, I know he's a Russell Terrier, like a dog, but he's a little annoying dog. But Russell, the things that many complain about with Russell, teammate to Lewis Hamilton, with some of the things he's done, imagine this. It's a known quantity. It's a person who is an a-hole will only be more of an a-hole if they get more money. It just enables them to feel more privileged to do the a-hole things that they're already doing. So imagine George Russell in a more competitive car. Imagine that. Oh, you ain't going to be able to tell. He talks about winning and all this stuff now while he's in a car that just came out of quicksand. You know what he's going to be like with a Red Bull car? George Russell going to be horrible. He's going to be absolutely horrible. So yeah, go ahead. Put him on out there. Love it. I endorse it. I actually support it. I want to see what Red Bull's going to. I think you do that, Max Verstappen will be out of there sooner than you know. I think he'd be out of there sooner than you know. I think, yeah, for sure. My contract 2028 is going to be up unless y'all do something about this guy. Unless you do something about Russell, I'm done. I can't even win like I used to in this car. I don't do well when I'm not front running. Now that I've gotten here for sure. Yeah, Max Verstappen going to be out of there. But I do, like I was saying, definitely clear and evident situation with Red Bull having the ability they have, the flexibility they have. Like if you play fantasy, you got a flex player. You can't put a quarterback in there. You could put a wide receiver in there. You could put a tight end in there. You could put a running back in there. You could put a different position in there. The junior Red Bull team is a flex position for Red Bull. All right. Those drivers can come up, go down. They're still in the Red Bull ecosystem. Liam Lawson, very glad he got his opportunity. I look forward to seeing what he's actually going to be able to do on track with a bit more of this season left than he had last time. I think Lawson only had about 3 races last time when Danny Rick was out. So right now we got 19, 20, 20. So he's going to have like 4 or 5 races to put a body of work together. Not a lot in comparison of the season, but a bit more than he had before. So I am interested to see how he's going to finish there. And then also, what will happen with Yuki? Will Yuki be able to also still look very competent as a driver and still retain that number 1 Red Bull junior team driver position, while Lim, who I think many of us think is a better driver at this point in time than Danny Rick, a better driver at this point in time than what we saw from Nick DeVries. I want to know, and I would like to see Yuki still perform at a level where they can't disrespect him. They can't discount him. I don't want to see Yuki discounted. I've grown pretty fond of his ability to make a change, to make progress as a person. Although, he's went back some time in heated situations, but that's understood. That, it happens. We don't all just keep moving forward. Every now and then we trip, might fall back, and then keep moving forward. So he's been a little edgy as of late on the radio, but in those situations, you can't hold him for having a bulk of the season more than often than not has been pretty good and recognizable to many of us as Yuki's made a step forward in progress in his mentality and his ability to drive that car and to be the main in person or driver to bring points home to that team. So I definitely hope that he keeps that, but I also want to see what Lim's going to bring, because Lim Lawson is also part of a new era of drivers who are coming into the sport and performing at very nice levels. And Colapinto's another one. I want to see what's going to happen with him. I want to see what's going to happen with Lim. I want to see what's going to happen with Ollie Berman. I want to know where and if Felipe Drugovich, champion, can get his ass into a seat and drive for somebody to do something. I just do. I'm tired of Felipe not getting his opportunity in Formula One when he's clearly earned it. He's clearly earned it. Lance Stroll has not done enough for any other driver that had a different name than Lance Stroll would be gone right now. And Felipe sitting in the wings is it's criminal to me. It is absolutely criminal to me. So we will see what happens. But if George Russell finds his way to Red Bull, hey, contract's up at the end of next year, going into the new era regulations in 2026. Audi will be coming to Formula One. That's going to be crazy. I mean, think about this, people. We have two more solid potential years of Formula One. This season completely surprised us all. Don't say it didn't. If you want to tell me you saw what came this season, you're a liar. Many, if all, not all people felt that Red Bull was going to run away with the championship in both areas, constructor and driver, handsomely. Just crazy. It didn't happen. The tide changed and it turned, and just like we got a hurricane going through this area, pretty much that's what it was. Now going in and out these races, Max Verstappen ain't even won a race in so many races, it ain't even funny. Max Verstappen has not won a race in a long time. This is where we are right now. He's not won a race in that many races. It's like 7, 8 races. He hasn't won a race. 7. Nobody saw that coming. The beginning of the season, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, boom. Christian Horner can't keep his hands to himself, boom. Adrian Newey announces he's probably going to be leaving, boom. Adrian Newey actually does leave and then gets with Aston Martin, boom, boom. Honda's going to Aston Martin. Aston Martin's becoming a works team, pow. It's been crazy. New rookies coming to the grid performing well, boom. This is the onset of a new era of Formula One that is coming out of the oven very soon, and we got more coming. Ferrari accepts Lewis Hamilton next year. That's a lot to check into. New drivers, Ollie Berman, Lim Lawson maybe Lim Lawson still going to retain his seat for the Junior Red Bull team next season. That's going to be crazy. What happens with Alpine? Do they still keep the Renault power unit and stay that a works team, or do they sell it all up and become a customer team? It is a lot. And then 2026, Audi's in, new regulations. Who's going to get a hold of them faster? What kind of car is Adrian Newey going to design for Aston Martin? Is it going to perform? Is it not? Where will Lewis Hamilton be with Ferrari with another season under his belt in the red Scarlet car? Where will Mercedes be? Will Mercedes with James Allison build a more dominant car and all of a sudden restore themselves back to championship status? Will Red Bull figure out what they've done wrong besides all the many things that we know they've done wrong? Will the FIA come down and say Red Bull can't cheat anymore? Divide the damn teams up? There's so much going on that Formula One for the next 2 seasons at least is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I know the possibility of Lewis Hamilton walking out of that door has many people saying they will stop watching Formula One then. But I'm going to tell you, Formula One's going to get pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. It is. Do I like what many of the people like Ben Slime stand for? No, I don't. But if we all leave the sport, what does that do for anything as far as pressure on the sport? I know the pressure as a spectator seems very minuscule. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is what needs to happen. Maybe that is what needs to happen. Maybe a bulk load of people with integrity and character need to leave, not pay attention to the sport, not buy the Formula One app subscription, not buy from Formula One as far as merch, not pay attention and tune in on all streaming apps. And then maybe Formula One will realize we've done something seriously wrong. Maybe you all are right for not watching Formula One after Lewis Hamilton leaves. Maybe you are right. Now that I sit here and I'm talking it out and I'm thinking about it, maybe there is such an indirect protest needed to correct what has gone wrong so many seasons in and out. So maybe you are right to do that shit. I'm just now coming to that right here live on the stream. Maybe that's what needs to happen, because 650,000 viewership down was no small drop in the bucket. Imagine if millions of people, absolutely millions, stop watching. We already know millions is possible with Lewis Hamilton leaving. But imagine if it just has a snowball effect and nothing work out. Audi is trash. Mercedes can't get it together. Red Bull has more scandals. It could go terribly wrong too. So I guess I'm not completely right in saying that it still would be interesting, but maybe not in a good way. So yeah, anyway, Christian Horner sucks. He's not a good person. Character sucks. Integrity sucks. Toto Wolff showed us that even his character and integrity is in question. Charles Leclerc, we want to see if he's going to put it together, and we will see. So with that being said, big shout out to everybody tuning in this morning. If you are in a hurricane pathway, especially Florida, Alabama, even moving up through the southern Midwest area, I hope that you are safe. I hope that you remain safe. Blessings and positive energy going out to you. Stay dry and just stay positive, as it might be worse in your area than it is in others. All right. So big shout out to y'all. Wolfpack out. Peace.